Greetings, Invader Scum. This is Pincognito, aka Pinko, here with number 2 in the low-level adventures of Fallax Bellator. So, this is a rather uneventful invasion to start things off, but I'm using it as kind of a backdrop to explain the only notable change in this character since the first video, and it's pretty obvious. Someone on the Soul Level 90 Discord, and I forget who, mentioned that the only thing they didn't really like about my first video is they didn't think a new player would wear the Untrue Dark Ring like I was throughout the first video, and I think that's right. So I've sadly taken off the one true ring, and in its place I've put on the fearsome blue Tearstone ring, whatever it's called in this game, the thing that gives you extra defense right before the moment you die. So I don't think it comes into play because it never comes into play. But yeah, so another round of adventures. This one's about over. The only thing interesting about this invasion is that the host didn't fog wall cheese me. But let's get to it. So a few more locations in this video than last time. I think we have some in the Undead Settlement again, but also here in the Crucifixion Woods, and also I think at least one invasion in the Farron Swamp. So a little bit more diversity in location here. So I saw the host is poisoned. Probably a decent sign of a recent player if they manage to get poisoned by the cockroaches with the giant mushrooms growing off them. I mean, it happens to me still too, but anyway. So we've got a dagger, which I don't normally try to parry. But Amish and I worked on this, the dagger parries, a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago at this point. Fourth swing was, I think, what Amish determined was the right swing to parry, and I worked to a charm here. Didn't mean to kill him, though. Frostbite procs when I wasn't expecting it. I felt a little bad about that. That was a little brutal. But GG. Alright, so we spawn a little ways here into Crucifixion Woods. Doesn't look to me like the second bonfire is lit. And nothing's really dead around me, so I made my way back to the first bonfire to try to find the host. Sure enough, I see a crucifixion cross escaping into the first bonfire in a rotating box. So either they're just goofing off here, or I arrived too early for them to set their trap. So we got an offhanded bow. So, and some taunting, so probably not a new player. And the phantoms pester me with throwing knives, which I never really understood, frankly, as anything other than a finisher. Particularly at this level, they do so little damage. I don't understand what the point is of even using them, unless you've like just, pop someone's tears of denial. So I decided to fight them up here, even though I really have obviously no mob support, and they're not new. So this is not necessarily, a guaranteed win. But it can be fun to fight 2v1, and I can easily escape if I need to. So, I gave it a shot just to see what would happen. It was a pretty fun fight. So I'm just trying, you see I kind of switch back and forth between lock and unlocked. I have been working, although I don't think it really shows in this series here. Oh, quickly, here's how you dodge throwing knives. You walk slowly back and forth. The unlocked backstab play I've been working on, I don't think really shows up in these clips. I think these invasions are a little earlier than when I was really doing most of my work. But I have been working more on just playing unlocked in general. But I do switch back and forth still. There are times when it's good to be locked on. But you'll see me in this invasion and in others kind of switch back and forth. I think particularly some later on. Not sure what the White Phantom was cheering for there. Nothing particularly interesting had happened, but maybe the Phantom was enjoying the fight. I don't know. So I knew the Phantom was going to drop, but I think I got a little lucky actually avoiding that charge attack, or the plunge attack. I think I just happened to roll at the right time, really. So there I was expecting the white to go for a parry attempt, so I could pivot around and backstab him, but he just went for the lunge attack. Yeah, the host I think probably underestimating me goes for the second blocked R1, which is a serious no-no with a spear against the parry shield. So they got much more passive. I'm not sure if the parry kind of freaked out the host, because you'll see he completely changes his game plan. He's not attacking me at all. I guess maybe he was either low on Estus or out of Estus at this point, because he doesn't engage in the same way. And you can see him there, he makes a beeline to go further into the level, which even rewatching this, I'm not really sure why. I mean, we'll see here he goes and he starts picking stuff up, I think, but I'm not sure why this was preferable to just fighting it out near the bonfire, and win or lose, you know, he starts off near the bonfire again. And so I thought for a moment they actually had the shortcut to Fair Swamp Open, but they don't. So they're in some trouble, and Camille here kind of left behind by the host. GG Camille. And I guess the host just decided they wanted to get some use out of this ember, and so they make their way over here to the Fair and Swamp bonfire. And here I basically accidentally killed this dude. I think it's, when he couldn't use the ladder, he just killed himself. Yeah, so the host came all the way down here. Again, I think they were trying to get use out of the ember, because I guess they foresaw defeat here. Able to get the pivot backstab against the weapon art. And then roll catch, roll catch, roll catch. GG. Alright, so the next one's in the Undead Settlement, and we spawn in what is usually a great area for invasions, because there's tons of mob support, definitely the most mob support in the level. But it's already dead, so we've got to fend for ourselves. Now, as I was saying in the last invasion, I don't have to stay here and choose to basically have a 2v1 duel. There's lots of places to fall back to in this level. It's one of the great things about it. But again, I was kind of assessing the relative skill level of my opponents. I don't know if these people were brand new, but they didn't seem super experienced. I will say they were doing a very good job of kind of not bunching up. They're kind of flanking me. You see, every time they come on opposite sides. Now, whether that was intentional or not, I don't know. But it was very effective, because it made it very hard for me to kind of get in on them, because I was constantly concerned about what the other one was. So as a result of that, you'll see me switch in and out. Here I catch the white, not being very careful with the shield. But you'll see me switch in and out of locked and unlocked play precisely so I can try to keep a better eye on where the other opponent is as I engage with their partner. You know, against two good players, this would be substantially more difficult. You know, if they were around my skill level, I'm not sure I'd accept this situation. It would just be too dangerous. I'd be much more likely to fall back further into the level. So I'm kind of targeting the white because it's unlikely, I mean, just like my character, he probably doesn't have much Estus on him, so he's going to be easier to dispatch. Here, you can't pull off the Barker Bomb bait much these days, so I was hoping I could get one here at low levels, but not even this dude fell for the Barker Bomb bait, or reacted the way I needed him to pull it off. Here I'm able to get the face tank parry. I have to say, I've been having much better success with face tank parries than setup parries with my medium shield. I'm not sure if the timing is just a little easier with a medium shield on face tank versus setups, or part of it is just I'm not using my shield to block as much as I should. I think it's because I usually use small shields, and they obviously have much lower stability than medium shields, and so I think I'm just used to not relying on it to block hits. And now the host just straight up abandoned their phantom, so where did they go? Back to the bonfire, surely, so they could, you know, get their souls more easily when they died. No. They straight up abandoned their phantom. GG, phantom. Alright, same spawn point, but now much more favorable situation. I've got all the mobs here at my disposal, so this is great. Particularly if it's a large party. If it's a solo host, this is absolute overkill. and I doubt I could even encourage a solo host to come out here. But I saw when I came in that the host was summoning another phantom, and since I don't have the obscuring ring, I kind of hang back here so I can get a sense of how large a party we're dealing with. I don't know right now whether it's a 2v1, a 3v1, or even, you know, potentially a 4v1, so I kind of hang out behind this burning tree. So I can see a host and a phantom. I make my way out to engage, and I totally miss that phantom hiding up in that hallway over there. I wasn't aware they were even here until they basically started attacking me. Phantom paying no attention, so I was able to get the backstab, and then... Yep, I have frostbite. Serious business. So here's the other white. The 13th god. And his host, Harry Gary. It's an odd name combo for sure. So, 13th god, a little R1 happy, a little overcommitted to the R1s there, and just left himself exposed. Didn't space things out to account for my presence. So Harry Gary here. Well, we engaged. This is not the Resummoner Olympics, but it is the. We do engage in the let's roll away from the red as long as we can game, which is you see often enough. And I really had no idea what Mr. Gary's plan was here. Clearly he's trying to pick up all the shinies. I just don't understand why. I guess it's just trying to get value out of the Ember while you still got it, but I'm a little perplexed by this strategy. I mean, it's working okay. He's picked up a couple shinies in the process. But I was totally befuddled as to why he went over this way. This is not a great situation over here when you're low on health. So at this point I got kind of curious just as to what he was doing. I think about using throwing knives to drop him off a ladder here, but I decided not to. I'm not sure I really had time to do it anyway. But I finally figured out what he was doing. I think he thought he could escape to the Malmaker's cutscene and flee. You see him there trying to get in the cage. Sorry, Mr. Gary. It doesn't work that way. So Mr. Gary realizes we're going to finish things down here now. And he makes a bad mistake with the Sellsword Twin Blades. They are really easy to parry if you do this. As a 2 chances setup parry, and it's pretty hard to miss. GG, Mr. Gary. Your face, it's truly hideous, but I'm guessing that was the point. So GG. So here I was in Undead Settlement, trying to get some invasions, clearing out the mobs while I was waiting for invasions, when this dude, Taco Tuesday, tries to ruin my PvP. So one of the nice things about being at low soul levels is that I haven't cleared out the bosses in any of the areas except for High Wall. So I can be invaded in Crucifixion Woods, Farron Swamp, Cathedral of the Deep, Undead Settlement, which is great. So here's an invasion from the other perspective. So Taco Tuesday here. It's got the night starting gear, so not an obvious twink, but so he's clearly he's going little parry happy, but he's clearly done a little bit of PvP. And here I don't go for the face tank parry. My thinking was I wouldn't go for it there so that I could go for it later and surprise him. Doesn't really pay off because there I tried to do a setup parry right away, so I think I gave the game away almost immediately. But anyway, my own mind games lasted for about 5 seconds. So it doesn't look like Taco Tuesday is twinking too hard, if at all. So bravo to you, Mr. Tuesday. So there, I've certainly given away the face tank setup parry game at this point. And now we have a nice little fight. He's being aggressive. So unfortunately, he takes out the dark hand. I mean, nothing against you if you like to use the dark hand. I get a little tired of seeing it at these levels. It's so common. It's kind of tiresome. Feels a little cheesy a lot of the time. But here, he makes a pretty bad mistake. Now, it's a partial, or a sloppy face tank parry. But he's seen me going for that or something similar several times, so that was really risky. He does the same thing here, and I get it clean this time. I just don't know if maybe he was getting a little panicky that things weren't going all that well, because he seemed good enough to not do that on the regular. Maybe my initial mind games paid off, I don't know. GG Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. It's a fun fight. Alright, so Farron Swamp. Fun place to invade, although it has some definite drawbacks. But Camille. We know Camille. We fought Camille. Camille has changed her outfit since we last saw her. And Camille is not so interested in this fight. Camille has chosen the slow death of poison rather than the opportunity for victory, the way I look at it. She didn't seem like a bad player last time we faced off. But this is not super fun. The totally passive host slowly killing himself, so I try to entice Camille into maybe participating in this little invasion. She is, after all, 20 feet from the bonfire. 2 seconds from the bonfire. So Camille accepts my gift of embers, and so I demonstrate what I would love for Camille to do, which is to cure the poison so we can have our little duel here. Camille accepts this second offering, but Camille, despite my joy, won't partake. And we get this little edge walk off into the level. So I was unclear as to what was going to happen now. I first thought Camille was just going to ignore me and play through the level until she died, basically. From the poison, but it's hard to tell at this point if that was going to happen or not. So I come around here to check out what's going on. Camille has laid waste to the slugs. I get a bow for reasons that are frankly inexplicable to me. I don't even have the bow in my menu, so I'm fumbling around here for it when suddenly, betrayal, Camille attacks me, but then immediately takes out her bow. So I was completely confused at this point. It's much like prehistoric people were trying to communicate here without any use of language, and I think failing. I'm not sure if we understood each other. But Camille has taken out her Uchi again, so the fight is on. I get this sweet barehanded parry, as one would do against a sword, of course. Most efficient way to fight a sword is just to slap it with your hand. Again. Ridiculous gloved parry of a katana. So I decided that I'm not going to heal since Camille is committing suicide via poison. And frankly, I kind of wanted to let the poison take her out. I'm not sure if that was some kind of petty thought on my part, or if I just wanted her to go out the way she had chosen to begin with. Man, she is so close to dying here. But as we'll see, the story plays out a different way. I miss my parry, and the poison stops right before she dies. Like seconds before. GG, Camille. That was a weird one. So, another invasion in Farron Swamp. This invasion, I think, demonstrates the real downside to invading here, which is it is a massive level, and it can be pretty hard to find the host unless they are poisoned. And so, if you can't find them, you kind of get to wander around for a very, very long time. Now, fortunately, the host here, Elion, is poisoned, so we've got a read on them, but they are nowhere near us, so we have a long, long way to go. This is even much more of a problem, you know, back when Soul Level 125 was still fairly active. I used to come out here and invade, and I think Saint used to do that on his stream even every once in a while. I think in his early streams we did that. Screw these jumping grooves, man. Everyone hates them. If I was an invader, I would kill them in every invasion I could. But I used to invade out here in Soul Level 125. And the real problem there is if you got a host that ran and had the obscuring ring, you were SOL. You were never going to find those fools, man. But I finally find the host here going up the ladder. There's a very weird graphical issue that, and I know Saint has experienced. You can't see players up here until you're actually off the ladder on top here. So I was kind of worried about getting a charge or two to the face right after I come off the ladder, but that did not happen. So we've got a solo host. He makes a run for the elevator. So I'm fully expecting, once I get up to his level, to either get plunged attacked or a sneak attack. So I keep that in mind as I go up. Not sure why I was so interested in how many green moss I had at the moment. Green blossoms. So I don't think I even used one. So here I know the sneak attack is coming, and I still mistime the roll. Try to roll in for the backstab, mistime the roll. So the host is experienced enough to know what that weapon art is, so I've got to be at least a little bit careful. I was trying to break his shield there so I could get the riposte. Now the host retreats to the elevator. I can only think that he thought I wouldn't be willing to follow since he has the ultra, but I was. It worked out pretty well in my favor, this little trip down. So the host does the charged R2 there. I try to punish it with a weapon art chain, but my spacing is completely off. He's being very passive. Again, he goes for the charged R2, but I time my roll very nicely here, able to sneak in with a roll backstab. Those are fun to pull off. Many times, however, I just end up eating a charged R2 to the face. I mistime my roll and eat the follow-up R2. Every once in a while, though, things look pretty slick. And then roll catch to finish things off. But GG. Good fight. Alright, so our last invasion. We're back in the Crucifixion Woods. I catch the Sumbro almost off guard. He's a little too R1 spam happy. Pretty easy face tank parry. Host is blowing all his endurance on meaningless R1s and break his guard immediately. Get the riposte. That's a pretty nice way to start. when you're spawned in right next to the party, it's nice to get 2 ripostes in the first 10 seconds. Now, Sunbro makes a terrible mistake of treating the dog as more dangerous than me. The dogs are dangerous, but they're not more dangerous than the invader. Now I see the host roll off over there, but I lose, or maybe that was the dog. I'm not even sure. No, the dog was dead. I see the host. I see the host roll off. I don't even know where he was going. So you can see me searching in confusion to where he has gone. It's actually usually kind of difficult to lose people in this level, provided they don't have the obscuring ring. Once you've got a beat on them, it's I don't usually have too much difficulty, but this guy, because he ended up going all the way back over there by the crucifixion dudes. I'm guessing he went to pick up the Estus shard that's back later in the level, or maybe just took a wrong turn and aggroed this guy. I don't know, but he's in some trouble here. And he makes his way back to the bonfire. So this guy didn't play brand new, or like not completely new, but this behavior right here, kind of looking for an exit, it certainly implies a pretty new quality to the game for this player. But so you'll have seen in these invasions, and most of my invasion videos, I go for face tank parries and setup parries a lot. I love them. They're fun. I think I'm pretty decent at them. But there is a danger in falling in love with those parries. And it's this. Now, I don't think I don't think most of the parries I went for in this fight were bad. Some of them were not great. I think some of them were fine. But I like this fight because it illustrates I think pretty well that parries are not really probably the most efficient or even best course of action frequently. I think rolling out is probably the better strategy a lot of the time. I mean, a parry and a riposte, particularly if you've got like a hot shot chaos dagger, can be the end of the fight. And certainly if it's not a phantom, it is the end of the fight. But maybe choose your spots a little better than I was in this fight, because over and over again you'll see me, and I'm hurling all these fire bombs, because obviously I knew this player was pretty new, and I was these parries. I knew this player was pretty new, and so I was really hoping to pull off a Barker bomb bait. They're so hard to pull off against more experienced players because it's such a well-known move now. I can't remember the last time I really pulled one off. But here I'm just bricking face tank after prediction parry after face tank parry. Here I go for the unlocked backstab to punish the Estus. Almost got it. I have pulled that off a couple times now, but I didn't quite get it there. Man, look at all these sweet parries. Jesus Christ. Oh. I'm really keeping him in this fight with all these parries. You know what? I take it all back. 10% of the time, it works every time, and it'll win you the fight. So parry to your heart's content. It's the way real invaders play. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it.